Hey veggie friends, finally, here's the video I've been promising you about the best vegetarian food in New Orleans. And I also looked for vegan options while I was there, just for those who don't eat that either. So, I'm breaking this into two parts because I've been to New Orleans several times and I have so many places to send you to. So the first one we're gonna start with is from this last trip. Went and visited my brother in April and we tried a bunch of new places, and I'll share with you my #1 tip about how to find the best food and the one place that has the worst vegetarian meal I've ever had in New Orleans. I mean, it's literally the only meal I've ever had that was awful. Okay, let's start with pizza. Reginelli's had great vegetarian options, and not just, you know, your typical mushroom olives, blah, blah, blah. All these awesome, like I got a pizza with burrata on it, and they also had vegan options, so you are set, and they have multiple locations if you want to check that out. Now, my brother lives off Magazine Street. I actually got this t-shirt at a great shop on Magazine Street. There's tons of awesome, there's a cool pottery shop on that street, a cool olive oil place. Anyway, that's my #1 tip. Get the frick out of the French Quarter. Like, the French Quarter is fun, Bourbon Street is fun, but if you don't see the other parts of New Orleans, you are missing out. And most of the time in the French Quarter, you're gonna overpay and you're gonna be disappointed. You're gonna spend a boatload for mediocre food. There are some, you know, restaurants, some of your really like classic. I have not been to, what's it called? Commander's Palace or anything like that. We did go to, what was that place called? One of those places in the French Quarter that was, you know, known, Broussard's we went to. And I was just, man, it was all right. Like, I was more excited about the bottomless mimosas than anything. So get out of the French Quarter and explore, because some of the best food is in the other parts of the city. And so Reginelli's we actually ordered from was in Uptown, or close to where my brother lives. Now the next one we were so excited about. It's called the Please You Cafe. My brother thought it was Greek, and it literally had everything you could possibly think of. They had vegetarian po' boys that were amazing. It's this dive little cafe, looks so old school. You know, my chocolate milk was literally Hershey syrup, you know, mixed into the milk, pie in the cooler, like just your old school cafe, and they had everything you could possibly think of, including vegetarian options. And the funny thing about that was we were trying to go to this place across the street, and I can't remember the name of it right now, but it was, they had these cool vegan options and like craft beers and stuff. We walk in, it was seat yourself. Everybody was snotty as fuck. Nobody helped us. Nobody told us what was going on, like that you had to go to the counter and order, or even offered us menus or anything. So we decided to walk out, walked across the street, went to Please You Cafe, and they were so friendly, so amazing, great atmosphere, so down to earth. I highly recommend it. Next was another place uptown, kind of close to my brother, called Suko Thai, but I know they have other locations in New Orleans. Amazing Thai food. And it was a little bit pricey, but it was so worth it. Not anything more than you would pay if you were in one of those, you know, expensive places downtown. But they also, in addition to vegetarian, had great vegan options, and they were clearly marked as to what you could get that was vegan, so that was awesome. Next thing I want to talk about is French Quarter Fest, which is the whole reason that I went down to New Orleans to hang out with my brother. Very cool. It's a regional festival with Louisiana musicians from all over the state and local legends. You know, it's funny, you hear the music and you didn't know you knew those artists. And it's really cool and really fun, huge festival. But as far as the food, they do have vegetarian options, and they mark them on all the signs that list the food vendors. And they also have an app that you can download on your phone that tells you where all the vegetarian options at the festival are, which I appreciated so much, because living in the Midwest, living in Omaha, you go to a festival and essentially you're fucked. Like, there's not really vegetarian food. I mean, fries, nachos without the meat, like, it's just not a cool thing. So I really appreciated that. Like, way to go, festival organizers. Okay, if you're looking to travel a little bit outside of New Orleans, I was going on a work assignment in Hammond, and we stopped at a restaurant called Cate Street on the way back. And my brother said, this is the Cheesecake Factory of the South, because they have the type of menu that just has everything you could possibly, from sushi to pasta to, you know, Cajun food and cool martinis and just anything you could possibly want. I had a really good vegetarian pasta there. So that's a great place. If you're looking for variety and almost anything you could want, I definitely recommend Cate Street. Also, if you're a beer fan, the Abita Brewery is out there. We went to the tap room, which is very cool. Unfortunately, they have, I'm mixing up the two places. I think we went to the brewery, but the tap room was closed. Like the one that serves food was closed, which is why we ended up not eating there. But they have all the beers that, you know, you can't always find. So it's really pretty cool. The next one is a result of my brother and I have this horrible thing where a lot of times we end up not choosing where we want to eat, and then it's too late and we're kind of screwed, or we don't want to go anywhere or whatever. So we had food delivered a few times, and this one was Monaghan 13. I was shocked. They had 2 different kinds of tofu sandwiches, multiple vegetarian options that you could veganize, and it's a really good option for those who don't want to eat meat. So I have not been to the restaurant itself, but the delivery, the food was really good. They had some really good tots, so I would definitely check it out. One place we went a couple of times was Port Orleans, because my brother plays trivia there, and they actually had great beer flights, but they also had this shishito pepper like dish, and they had a couple of vegetarian things that you could get if you were really, I mean, I wouldn't go there for a meal, it's more like appetizers, but that's a good option too. Now this one's kind of shocking. So the Harrah's buffet. We had talked about going there many times when I'd been down there. I think I've been down there 5 or 6 times now. And we ended up gambling a little too much this trip, and which we don't normally do, but my brother's not drinking right now, so we were like, you know. Anyway, and so we're like, well, we're here, let's just go to the buffet. And I was skeptical as all get out, but they had several vegetarian options. They had a vegetarian soup, they had tofu on the buffet. Shocked, honestly shocked, because the buffets here, nah. Like, you don't get options like that, especially not, you know, vegetarian options where if you want to be conscious about what you're eating and trying to lose weight and those kind of things. So the buffet actually ended up, yeah, it was pricey. It's going to be pricey. It's a casino buffet, but they had great options. The next one that was super cool was the Parkway. This is an epic old school, like in a neighborhood po' boy shop, and they have, these po' boys are gigantic. I got, well, I messed up my order. Okay, so tip. If you order the grilled cheese po' boy, you have to order it on French bread. Otherwise, you just get like a regular grilled cheese. So I was all sad. I was like, what is that? I thought I was getting a po' boy. But you can get one and just order it on the French bread. So anyway, then my brother went up and ordered me a second sandwich, which was a Caprese Po-Boy. Holy mother of God, this thing was amazeballs. Now granted, they're supposed to have world famous fries, and I didn't think the fries were that great, but the sandwiches were so cool. The atmosphere was so chill, and you know, it was just really good. I would definitely go there if you get the chance. Last place, well, second to last place I want to talk about is, this is just kind of like a little bonus. Like one day we were walking up and down Magazine, and I'm a huge fan of like Mai Tais and zombies and like those kind of drinks. And Dat Dog actually had an amazing zombie. And if you don't know this, in New Orleans, you can get drinks to take to go because it's open container. So yeah, stop by there. Okay, so here's the big one I promised you. The worst meal I've ever had in New Orleans. I mean, I didn't eat it, and I'm pretty obnoxious about food waste. I hate wasting food. I usually finish something even if I don't think it's that great. This was nasty. So this place is in the French Quarter. To be more specific, it's in the French Market, so like a little bit outside the French Quarter. And we had always walked by there, and I had always been intrigued because they had a sign that said vegetarian, you know, vegetarian options, and it had a list, but it was counter service, and it's always been slammed every time we've gone by there. So we've never ended up eating there. So finally, we ended up going there at a time when it wasn't. I ordered the vegetarian jambalaya, and my brother ordered a gator burger. Yes, a gator burger. And it was the most disgusting ass, oh my God, literally, it was rice with frozen vegetables and Cajun seasoning. There was like no sauce, no nothing. It was so gross. I couldn't even, it was so awful. So try it if you want, but I will never eat there again. And that is not a thing that is a rare thing to come out of my mouth. So I would not go there if I was you. And just while I'm there, one other disappointing thing we had. So we were walking around the French Quarter and there's a sign that said vegetarian food. And I'm like, I got so excited. And then I like looked in the window and it was bagels and cream cheese. That's it. Bagels and cream cheese. So if you see that place in the French Quarter that says vegetarian food, probably, unless you want a snack or breakfast, like, no, not gonna do it for you. Anyway, so I hope this helps. I will put all the links to all the places I mentioned down below. And I have another video coming up next of the places that we've gone to multiple times because they've been so good, and places I would definitely go back to again.